Testing. WNBC.
No, he's a nutritionist. Sit on a potato pan,
Mellow
Otis. Sit on a
yellow.
potato.
Hey. Hey guys, welcome back to Actually Adultish. My name is Christina and I'm your host. I'm a holistic health coach in Los Angeles. I am the creator of the blog Addicted to Lovely, and I'm also the host of another podcast called Straight Up Paleo. I'm very excited because today I have some really fun guests. But before we get into that, I have a few announcements really quickly. Not so quickly, but I just want to explain. So the first thing is I recently released my latest ebook, #No Sugar, No Problems. I'm so excited about it because it is a collection of sweetener-free paleo desserts. There are no sweeteners used. So that means no sugar, no stevia, no yacon syrup, no maple syrup, no erythritol, no xylitol, no sweeteners. And there's also no bananas and no dates. So all low glycemic. And it's just, I'm so excited about it because I have everything there. I have cookies, I have brownies, I have cupcakes, I have regular cake, I have puddings, I have milkshakes, I have everything you could ever want, ever need, all in this ebook. And I'm so proud of it and excited about it because I just want to make it accessible for everybody to enjoy a sweet treat, even if they don't want the sugar or the sweeteners. So I know a lot of people with gut issues or other health issues have to remove sugar from their diets, whether that be long term or for a limited time. And this is a way that you can still have a sweet treat if you want it. I'm really excited. And it's great if you're ketogenic or paleo, primal, vegan, vegetarian, I don't know, diabetic, low carb, any of the above. If you're on, did I say the Candida diet? I'm just going to say that again. Low FODMAP. There are options for you. So I really hope you guys like it. And I have a blog post up about the ebook if you want to learn more. Make sure you use the code ActuallyAdultish at checkout, but that has to be done on a computer. For some reason, it doesn't work on a phone, but use that code ActuallyAdultish for 20% off. And I think you guys are going to love it. I'm so excited about it. So if you want to check it out, you can head to my blog, addictedtolovely.com, and grab it there under ebooks, or go to bit.ly/no sugar, no problems. That's that. The next thing I would like to discuss with you is the fact that this week is Thanksgiving. So I hope you guys have some amazing Thanksgiving plans, and I hope you eat a lot of delicious food. If you don't already know what you're doing, or if you know what you're doing and you want to up it a little bit, make it even better, then you should get my Thanksgiving ebook, the one that I created with my friend Kaylee Christina. It's called Gratitude, a healthy holiday guide for paleo Thanksgiving. And it's the ultimate guide for having a stress-free holiday season. We have a ton of amazing paleo recipes inside. I am particularly obsessed with the golden deviled eggs, the sweet potato casserole, the delicious cauliflower mash and gravy. This gravy is insane. The pumpkin pie, of course, the green bean casserole, the Brussels sprouts, butternut squash salad. We have all of the things. It's delicious. And the pumpkin nog, it's so good. So you should totally check out that ebook. And it's also great for Christmas. And we also have a whole section all about mindset and lifestyle and exercise and movement and how to deal with family drama and how to be present during the day, how to plan out the week, what to do if you are planning an event or a party. So it's everything you could ever need and more. And you guys are going to love it. And just use the code ActuallyAdultish for 20% off. And you can get that on my website, addictedtolovely.com, under ebooks, or at bit.ly/gratitudehhg. And you will be all set for the holiday season. Next up, this week, we have a giveaway. I'm so excited. So you guys know I love to cook. You know I love spices. So I've teamed up with Simply Organic spices. I'm sure you guys have seen them. I love their spices. And we are going to do a fun holiday giveaway. Yeah, so there are going to be 3 winners. So 3 winners are going to win 3 of their best sellers. So those best sellers are chili powder, garlic powder, and cinnamon. So all you have to do is go to the Actually Adultish Instagram, find the Instagram post about this giveaway, and you just follow us, follow Actually Adultish, and follow Simply Organic, and then comment and tag a friend. That's all you have to do. Super easy, and you can win some spices and get your cooking on. So that's really fun. I also just want to remind you of ways you can support the show. You can become a patron of the show at patreon.com/actuallyadultish and pledge any amount of money that you want each month to the show to support the production costs so that I can continue to put out free content every week for you. You can pledge $1, $2, $5, $10. Everything helps. Another way you can support the show is just by doing your regular Amazon shopping through the link in the show notes or the link on our website. It doesn't cost you any extra money, but it puts a little bit of that money towards Actually Adultish. So those are the ways you can support me and this lovely podcast if you're enjoying it. So I think those are all of my updates. And I think it's time to introduce my guests. So I have the founders of Kimera Koffee, Frankie and Theo, and I also have their ambassador/friend, Chris Algieri. And Chris is a former WBO World Boxing Champion, also a former kickboxing champion, and a performance nutrition coach. And this conversation was a lot of fun. They came over to my apartment and I made them the flourless pumpkin brownies that are on my blog, and it was just a lot of fun. And we talk about Kimera, the coffee, which is ridiculously delicious and changes everybody's life who tries it. I swear. I've given it to so many people and they're always like, what is that coffee? It's magical. But they also have really fun other products. I really like their cacao booster. It's so delicious, and it has cacao and cinnamon and L-glutamine. And if you know me, you know I'm obsessed with L-glutamine. It's amazing for gut health. So it tastes so good. But yeah, they have a lot of really great products, and they're a really cool company. They're really cool guys, and we talk about pretty much everything from how they built their business, came up with the idea of putting nootropics into their coffee, how they deal with social media, what it's like to be an ambassador for them. And Chris talks a lot about fitness and nutrition and what boxing is really like, all the fun things. So I had a great time chatting with them. They're awesome. And you should definitely try their coffee if you haven't already, because it's a game changer and it will make you feel like you're on another planet in the best way possible. Also, I definitely recorded them prior to announcing I was starting recording, so included that. I hope you guys enjoy it. Hi guys.
Hello.
Hello.
So I'm very overwhelmed. This is the most testosterone I've ever had in my apartment before. I've never
Really?
had 3 men in my apartment.
Oh.
The last time I had this much was when the Mind Pump guys were on. There's only 2 of them. So
But Chris counts as 4, actually. So it's 6 guys.
I was gonna say the Mind Pump guys. 2 of them is like 4 or 5.
that's true. That's true. They could like eat me. I'm like, they're big guys.
Probably us too. So.
Yeah, probably. So why don't you each introduce yourself to people who don't know you?
Okay, I'm Theo Armenteros, one of the co-founders of Kimera Koffee from Dominican Republic, currently living in Boston. So, yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I'm Frankie, and I'm Theo's partner in Kimera Koffee, and I live in the Dominican Republic.
I'm Chris Algieri, former WBO World Boxing Champion and current clinical nutritionist, and I am a brand ambassador for Kimera Koffee.
So how did you guys meet each other?
Well, I've known Frank our entire life. We went to school together. He's actually 3 years younger than me, even though he looks like beat up right now. It's probably LA taking a toll on him.
It's probably my fault.
Yeah. So we met when we were younger, and Chris, we met him like 8 months ago.
Recently.
Yeah, I'm new.
Yeah.
But now you're like BFFs.
Buddy.
You seem to be with each other all the time.
Yeah. We're going to adopt him.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
He's moving.
Well,
he's just
so it's
in
funny.
with us.
They invited me out for this ambassadors trip where I thought it was going to be a whole bunch of the ambassadors, and we
Yeah.
had a whole bunch of things planned. It turned out it was just me, and
Wow, special treatment.
so we all just kind of hung out and had a great trip, like a week of West Coasting and doing a bunch of podcasts and video production, and we just hit it off. Everything was just natural.
So you were just like, where were you on the West Coast?
Where did we start last time?
I think it was here.
Yeah.
In LA.
We came
I just don't
Yeah.
even
LA
know.
and Vegas, and
Yeah.
Have we
LA
gone
and
else?
Vegas. Yeah. We don't
We
know.
went,
It's all
but we
blur.
went to the Mind Pump studio.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
in San
right,
Jose.
that's right.
because we went to San Francisco, then LA, and then that's right.
Yeah, so we
Okay.
tricked Chris into coming in the first trip. So
Yeah.
we told them that it was like a huge production, and that like we had all the brand ambassadors coming over because we knew he wouldn't come. So
I texted my
And then-
manager. I'm like, I think these guys just want to hang out with me.
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's
then
what
we're
happened.
like,
Why is he your favorite?
Oh, we
No, we
can't
had
say
a-
he's our favorite.
Yeah, we can't. We,
To all the
I
other
almost,
say
masters.
I
that.
almost just tricked
we
you
can't say
into
that
it.
to Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, well, so you're in Boston. Where do you guys live?
Dominican
Oh,
Republic.
you're
I
like
do.
permanently
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Okay.
And I'm in New York.
And you're in New
Yeah.
York? Interesting. So when did you leave the Dominican Republic?
5 months ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
recently.
Recently, yeah. I was
And why'd
there.
you go to Boston?
My wife got a job there. She's a doctor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So then I followed
Going
her.
big.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm lucky that I have Kimera Koffee and I can basically work from Boston and go to Dominican Republic like every month.
You go there every month.
Yeah. I haven't gone in like the last 2 months, but I'm going down there now for 3 weeks because we're having like our Christmas party. We're having our
Gotta
second.
go for the Christmas party.
We're having our second
Navidad.
production run, like not our second, like our current one.
Yeah.
I think we're at batch like 19 or 20.
Like 20 something.
Yeah.
Have you been?
No, not yet.
Are you going to?
Yeah, we've actually talked about me going down there doing some boxing seminars, talking about nutrition stuff, and seeing the farms.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's pending.
Ooh, seeing the
We
farms.
always like taking some of our brand ambassadors to like the farm community because it's
Yeah.
like just so foreign to them to see people like,
Yeah.
like Chris or like Juji Mufu or like our new brand ambassador called Blessing. He's like a pro bodybuilder that lives in Dublin.
He's so
And he's
awesome.
like, he's
Which
humongous.
Dublin?
Ireland.
Ireland,
Oh, okay.
Ireland.
The real.
Because
the
there's
real
a
one.
fake
Yeah.
Dublin over
like
here.
Dublin,
yeah.
Texas or something.
There's a Dublin like near the
He's
bay.
like a huge African athlete, and he like sticks out like a sore thumb. He's
Yeah.
really funny. We love that guy.
So, okay. Can we compare DR to here? What do you think of America?
Well, I love America, and Frank and I, we both love America, and it's given us the opportunity to like push Kimera Koffee forward because
Yeah.
it has such a like good economy and base and everything. But compared it's like DR is similar to Miami, I would say.
Okay.
A little more disorganized, obviously. It's a third world country.
It's one way
but
to
the
say
overall
it.
sense, being so close to like the US, it's very Americanized.
Mm-hmm.
And people down there love Americans. You're going to go down there and they're going to treat you like
Really?
kings. Yes. Yeah.
Why do they love Americans?
I think tourism is
Because
like...
you bring dollars.
True.
Dólares.
True.
So they know it's been ingrained in the culture, like, oh, tourism helps us. So I think everybody loves foreigners.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite place in America to visit?
Pacific Northwest.
Why?
Because it's incredible, like the landscape.
No one ever says that.
They haven't come to New York with me yet. So
Okay.
by the end of this weekend,
Yeah.
it might be a different.
I'm surprised you haven't been in New York. I feel like that's like.
We have
No, I
I'd go
have,
to
but
LA
not
and
with
New York.
Chris.
Not with me. It's
Oh, no.
There's
It's gonna be
regular
all
New
different.
York and then Chris New York.
Like what? Underground boxing New York?
No, it's going to be a lot of good restaurants and a lot of cool people and cool spots that you may not normally come across.
Like what?
So my buddies actually, they own the Blind Barber, which is actually out here in Culver City as well, and they're opening one in Hollywood as well.
Okay.
But it's essentially a barbershop, but after hours
But
it turns
blind.
into a nightclub. Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. It's an interesting
I've never
concept.
heard
Like a
that
speakeasy
concept.
idea bar, and like you go through like a back door to like go to the bar and you get your.
So you get lined up. You get like a.
Sorry guys, I got a package. I'm just gonna leave that. Just gonna
Really?
leave it.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Okay.
That's cool. I like that effect.
that's pretty cool.
You can say that someone was
That's very
cursing.
colorful for like the podcast.
I'm,
Okay.
I'm leaving that in.
So,
Definitely should.
so can I get like a haircut and then
Yeah,
So
that's
you're
what I
gonna
was
get a
wondering.
haircut.
haircut, a drink?
Each haircut comes with a drink, and then you go through a secret doorway, and then you enter into the actual bar. And
Like an actual secret doorway?
Yeah, like literally, you slide like a grate out of the way.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. Okay, what's your favorite regular restaurant in New York?
Well, you said, Frankie, you said Catch.
Yeah, we went there last night.
We went
and
to Catch
it was
LA
really
out
good.
here. It was super good. But
okay.
in New York, I'm a big fan of steakhouses. Like STK is pretty awesome. Nobu Sushi is really good. But yeah, there's tons of really good Italian food too. So
What? Okay, as a nutritionist, what is your nutrition philosophy?
what is my stance?
Yeah.
There is no bad foods. There's only bad amounts and bad timing.
Okay.
And I am a eat more kind of guy. I'm telling this guy to eat more all the time.
If you see his
It's a big
his
issue.
Instagram
I don't think
feed,
people
this
eat
guy,
enough food.
This guy just spends all day eating.
I
I
cook
can't
and
believe how like small he is and just like consumes calories like a madman.
Well, this guy
Beers.
all week. He's like, this guy eats so much food and stays lean. I don't know how he does it.
Okay, speak to that more.
So I like you said, I think so many people are underfed, and they, the human metabolism is so great that it adapts relatively quickly. So it'll adapt to that lower caloric intake. People are busy; they don't eat all day. They go long stretches without having any nutrition at all, and it tends to slow people's metabolism down. And when they do eat, it has more of a negative impact than you would expect. Someone like me, or when I'm with my clients, I like to make sure keeping everybody fed, keeping your blood sugar up, making sure you're staying sharp, which is why the synergy with Kimera makes so much sense for me. Staying mentally focused, staying up throughout the day. I'm an energetic guy because I eat so much,
I'm curious, what kind of clients do you usually work with, like athletes?
So I'm the head performance nutrition coach at Stony Brook University.
Okay.
It's a Division I program. I have about 400 athletes that I oversee.
Okay.
Their nutrition specifically for their sport. We have a campus RD, but it's not specific to sports. That's my job.
Okay.
And I have a few private clients. One of my guys actually just fought last night, Saturday night. Former WBA World Champion Daniel Jacobs. He's a boxer. He was the main event on HBO this past Saturday.
Oh.
And with him, he's a very special client because I'll live with him for 2 months, and I prepare all his meals leading up to fight night, and monitor his weight, his intake, his energy levels, his training sessions. I do his conditioning with him. He's a special client.
Do you have a UFC fighter that?
I do. So I'm also with Volkan Ozdemir. He's fighting for the UFC World Championship against
Daniel Cormier.
Cormier, yeah, January 20th, Boston.
Which is pretty
Wow.
Big
So
deal.
are you hooking them up with people?
big.
Actually,
people-
we're sending Volkan.
He's got to get us
pretty
tickets
soon.
to
Yeah.
the fights.
Oh,
He has
cool. Okay, we're gonna get into that in a second, but let's talk about coffee.
Let's do that.
So let's talk about Kimera, and why is that the name?
Oh, why is that the name? Well, that's been asked like 3 times in this trip, which is funny. The original name was Kraken Coffee.
Okay.
We're on an island. We want like a monster, the Kraken monster. And the parent company is actually called Kraken Coffee LLC, but we couldn't use Kraken Coffee because we got a cease and desist letter from Kraken Rum.
So.
Really?
Yeah.
But it was for the best because Kraken was a little aggressive.
Yeah.
For the girls, it was. We heard that a lot afterwards. Yeah. But they were saying it's funny because I was like, well, it's rum or coffee, but it's a black drink that promotes a lifestyle. So it makes sense in that sort of way.
So Kimera. You wanna
So
tell
then
'em
Kimera,
what a Kimera is?
we're like bugging out, Frank and I. Like, oh, what name we're gonna choose? Kraken was perfect. We had the logo. The logo was like a tentacle holding up a coffee cup. Like,
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
I
like
see.
kind of like a
Yeah.
little fancy smancy teacup. So I'm in Virginia, and I'm on the phone with Frank, and I'm just reading him
out like mythological
mythological
creatures.
monsters, any monster you can think of that will rhyme with coffee, right? We obviously changed the K to get like the website, everything. So when I came across Kimera, Frank kind of he liked it, and my wife heard it.
I liked how it sounded.
Yeah, and my wife heard it, and she says like, use Kimera because it's also a genetic condition when people have 2 sets of DNAs. You're a Chimera. You've seen people with two colored eyes and stuff like that. So we're like, yeah, it'll sound good. And then we're talking, and it just like Frank and I, we always come up with stuff. Like, I usually tell him something, and I'm super enthusiastic, and Frank brings it down because I'm like, Kimera it is. Like, imagine like throw pillows with Kimera, everything. And Frank's always like a bit more logical, and then like we settle it down.
Yeah.
And that's how it's
I have
been
like
with
an
every
analytical
idea.
mind. Like once you throw out something, like I try to picture all the scenarios and just like how it would work out. So Kimera being like a dual DNA, or like a couple of animals in one, we said, well, it could be like you, the human being, and then what
you want coffee.
what what you become afterwards. It's kind of like a philosophy. Our slogan is become the legend. It's like, become
like
the better self.
Yeah. Okay.
Our coffee is just, an aid or a stepping stone for you to move towards your goals and stuff like that.
Yeah. So why don't you explain what's different about your coffee? Why is your coffee better than everyone else's?
There you go.
I wouldn't say it's better than anyone else's,
one
but
is the taste.
it tastes pretty good because we have really good coffee crops in the Dominican Republic. Like our mountain ranges are excellent for growing coffee. They're very similar to Jamaican mountain ranges, which has some of the best coffee in the world. Have you heard that?
No. But
Well, there's a mountain called Jamaican Blue Mountain, which is like for people that really know about coffee, or coffee snobs. That's like one of the
expensive coffee.
It's very expensive coffee. So, besides the fact that we have excellent weather conditions and soil and climate to grow coffee, it's in our backyard. We go and pick the batches and make sure that the beans are like the best beans for our specific batches. And then after that, we mix them with nootropics, which are brain vitamins. So that's the other half of the equation. With the great taste, we have we put alpha GPC, L-theanine, taurine, and DMA into the coffee in an industrial machine. We homogenize all that in there, and you can't even tell that the coffee has anything in it.
Well, you can,
like the flavor,
but you can't taste it.
Yeah, you can't taste it, but you can definitely feel it.
Okay. Why don't you talk about what those different nootropics do?
Oh, Frank's the resident nutritionist, scientist.
Okay.
He actually spent like a year and a half
We did
working with the
about
formula.
52 prototypes, and we spent about a year just getting the formula that we have now. We had aid from a lab in Virginia that helped us out a little bit with like the formulation.
The stability and the compounds and stuff, make sure it was stable at high temperatures.
So alpha GPC and DMA are choline compounds, which I don't want to get too technical, but when it crosses a blood-brain barrier, they help you with the neurotransmitters, which are essentially responsible for like your brain and body connection, muscle reaction time. Then you got taurine and L-theanine. L-theanine helps you like hone the caffeine jitters. It makes you, feel a little bit more focused. When sometimes you feel like you're in the zone type of deal, you enter like a flow state.
Yeah.
L-theanine helps you, achieve those, let's say, brain waves or enter that zone. And last is taurine. It helps you prolong dopamine levels. So, the combination of all that, let's say if caffeine is good for you for, let's say, 2 hours, that you feel energized and you're feeling like good about that, with these nootropics, you could probably be energized for almost twice that.
Yeah.
So
No
you don't
crash.
need, the crash is let's say tamed with the L-theanine, which is a green tea extract. So.
My co-host Kara likes to say that your coffee makes her feel like she's floating on clouds.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good description.
Yeah. So how did you what made you decide to do that, to put the nootropics?
Well,
in the coffee?
we were doing coffee and brain pills separately.
Okay.
And sometimes we would. I was a pre-workout junkie, and it got to a point where I didn't like the way that I was feeling. So after reading about it and like just seeing that some of them have a lot of sugars and fillers and stuff like that, we decided to try out like a more natural route.
Yeah. Wait, can we talk about that? Pre-workouts?
Okay.
I would just like to hear your opinions because people ask about it all the time.
Personally, I took them for...
Most of them are just filled with shit.
I took pre-workouts even... Do you remember like in the 99 Xanadrin came out?
No, I was like 4 years old.
Well, I remember I took that. I wasn't. I took that and
you old as fuck.
and I fainted. I fainted when I took that. Yeah, but after that, I just kept on always taking pre-workouts, and it's just a tingling feeling you get. I mean, it doesn't seem natural.
Yeah.
And what Frank said, they were full of sugars. It's expensive. You're taking something artificial. And then...
But that's why they're telling you need it.
Well, they definitely make you feel more energized because they're full of caffeine. But, you know, where do you get the caffeine? You get it from coffee, so...
Yeah.
Well, that's synthetic caffeine that they use, and most of those companies get it from China, and you can look at YouTube videos online and how they produce that caffeine in China, and it's just basically mounds and mounds of caffeine laying out there, and it's all like blowing in the wind. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
Well, okay, you must have an interesting perspective. Like, you work with all these athletes.
So I'm adamantly against using pre-workouts. As an athlete myself, I never did. I honestly didn't even drink coffee until like my late 20s.
Okay.
So I was just I was a food guy. You know, I still am. I still very much am a food first kind of person. So keep my energy levels up by eating the right foods at the right times.
Yeah.
And with my athletes, I had the same thing. I actually had Vulcan text me today. He goes, "Can I have a sugar-free Monster?" Yeah. And I said,
no.
He's like micromanaging.
While we were running.
He's like a kid.
He's like, can I have it? I'm like, well, you can drink piss.
Yeah.
If you want. I just don't recommend it. And he goes, that's a very lovely way to put it.
Yeah.
I'm like, have some coffee with a banana, put a little sugar in it, and go ahead and have your workout.
Yeah.
Chris is really mean to his athletes.
I am.
So like, do you do Kimera as like a quote pre-workout?
Yeah. So people ask me all the time, like, well, why do I even use Kimera? Why do I use coffee? Like, it's honestly, it's a pre-workout for me.
Okay.
You know, my sport, boxing, it's so much seen from the public eye as kind of like rock'em sock'em robots, but it's a highly skilled sport with a lot of mental and psychological aspects to it. So being focused in and being in that flow state is really important for nearly every session. So that's where I would say that I would use like a pre-workout would be my coffee.
Do you guys have coffee every morning?
I do.
Yeah.
I have like 4 cups a day.
Oh.
I have two cups. One in the morning, one in the afternoon.
Oh.
I don't. I start my day actually with yerba mate in the morning, and then I have coffee in the afternoon.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Which if you follow Chris, you'll see his morning routine.
What's your morning routine?
You'll see the picture of his juice. Or
do you meditate? You seem like a meditator.
I do. I do a lot of visualization.
Okay.
And I have throughout my entire career. So that's been something that, because for one, like people ask me all the time, like, oh, do you get nervous when you go into a ring or when you fight? I've had 44 professional fights since I was 19 years old.
Yeah.
So I've gotten kind of accustomed to that. But what had helped me get over the nerves of fighting another man in front of a whole bunch of people was visualizing it so many times leading up to it. I would do a lot of meditation and just shut everything down and just really think about. I think about the ring walk. I think about the car ride from the hotel to the arena. I would think about right before the bell rang in round number 1. I would get myself there first. Mm-hmm. So when I was going through the process, I had been there so many times. There's nothing to be nervous about.
Yeah. For you, what is the most challenging part of that whole experience? Is it the mental or like the physical aspect of fighting?
I mean, physically it is. It's crazy demanding. The metabolic demand is super high. The training is way harder than the fighting, honestly.
What is the training like?
Training camps are long and arduous. They're usually, depending on the athlete, you're looking at 8 to 12 weeks leading up to a fight.
Okay.
And it's in nature, boxing or fight sports are catabolic.
Yeah.
The athletes are always trying to lose weight. Mm-hmm. So we were talking about this yesterday. I don't know who we were talking about. They were asking how many calories I eat a day. And I eat between 3,500 and 4,000 calories a day during training camp, and I still lose about a pound of body fat a week.
Wow.
So the output's so high.
Yeah.
You know, it's really demanding. And being in that catabolic state all the time for 2 months, it's demanding.
I feel like it's really mental too, like for you to break through to like the top the top heap of the fighters.
Yeah.
It's definitely
Absolutely. At the highest level, everybody's good.
Yeah.
Listen, top 20 guys are all really good, really fast, really strong, really fit, train really hard. The top guys are just mentally stronger.
And what do you think? Do you think it's the visualization that helps the most, or is there other techniques you use?
I think it depends. I think it depends on the athlete themselves. Like I think some guys, I think their focus and their drive and their passion comes from different places.
Yeah.
You know, so some guys are fighting to get out of, you know, their current living situation or where they grew up or their heritage and their family. You know, a lot of fighters are poor.
Yeah.
I didn't have that, you know, that situation. I came from a Long Island suburb.
Yeah.
You know, I went to college. You know, I have opportunities to work outside of boxing. My passion came for the actual love of the sport. I've grew up watching it. My grandfather was my hero, and his heroes were fighters.
Okay.
So it was just
Yeah.
natural for me to look up to these guys
Yeah.
because my hero looked up to them.
Yeah.
So
But also, I think it takes like a special kind of person to like just mentally get over like really, really tough situations. Like this guy when he was fighting for the world title.
Yeah.
He in the first round, he got his orbital bone broken by one punch, and for you to fight like till the end with that type of pain
Oh
and
my
just
God, yeah.
one eye shut. I mean, I think that a lot of people can't do that.
Yeah, you should
crazy.
Google.
In that moment, like, was it one of those things where, like, after the fight was over, then all the pain hit? Like while you were fighting, was it, like, blunted a little bit because of all the adrenaline? And...
So the funny thing, people ask that a lot about, like, could you feel
I ask
pain?
you that all the time.
And
well, I'm sure you felt it, but I'm just wondering if it was worse
the funny
after.
thing is, like your feeling is actually, it's heightened. You feel everything more than you normally would, but there's a disconnection. So it's almost like an out of body thing, like where you're more analytical in terms of the pain. I was
Yeah.
like, all right, I felt that on my elbow, and you're kind of like systematically going through. It's like, okay, is that injured? Is that
Oh
something?
my god, that
There
hurts
it is.
me.
Yeah, that's a good one.
How long was it like?
I had a black eye for about 4 months.
Did you have to get surgery?
No, so luckily I did not. So what they told me was that surgery wouldn't guarantee that it would heal any stronger, and it could potentially injure my vision. It would impair my vision.
Is your vision fine?
Totally
now?
fine.
Oh, thank
Totally fine.
God. That's crazy. Okay, wait. Have you ever given someone like a really bad injury?
Yeah, I've knocked some people out pretty bad.
Oh my God. Your eye's like bigger than my head.
So
Yeah.
Chris just showed her a picture of his
I feel so
nasty
bad
ass
for you. Oh
Don't
my
look
God.
at that. Notice I'm smiling in the photo.
I know. But
I've got a
like-
brand new world title sitting across my lap in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. Happiest moment I could possibly have.
After a fight, like the guy who gave you that, do you like talk to each other, or does he like?
There's an incredible amount of respect between fighters, especially after fights.
Yeah.
You know, when you're in there with somebody, and that was a 12-round fight, when you're in there with someone sweating and bleeding on each other and matching skill and wit for 36 straight minutes and doing it in front of millions of people, the camaraderie and the bonds that develop after that are like nothing else.
Yeah.
It's like, and all the animosity's gone.
Do you sometimes like don't want to go back and fight him because you're like, man, he's my friend.
So I've had to fight sparring partners before. I hate it. I hate knowing
Yeah, I
that they're
can't
a human
imagine.
being. Like I knew he had kids and all. Like I don't want to think about that. You know, like I'd rather
That-
think of them as an object, not a human.
Well, that's what I want to ask you. Like, how does your family feel about you fighting? Like, is that hard?
They've literally always hated it.
Okay.
They've always asked me when I was going to stop.
Uh-huh.
Every new injury that came, they're like, all right, we done now? And I'm like, no. And I remember one time I broke my hand. I have a titanium plate, 5 screws in my metacarpal. My left
Wow.
hand. It's like my 10th or 11th pro fight. And I remember my mother was taking me to the hospital to get the surgery done. And afterwards, my mom still calls me to this day Chrissy. She puts her arm on
Grandma calls me that. Twins.
twinning. I'm laying on the gurney after the surgery. I'm just waking up, and she pats me on the arm. She goes, "Chrissy," she's like, "You got metal in your hand now." And I was like, I'm like, I literally
Yeah.
just woke up from.
Leave me alone, Mom.
I just woke up from surgery, and I'm like getting out of the anesthesia, and I'm like, I'm looking at her like, yeah, I know, that's why we were here.
Yeah.
And she's like, I think it's time that you really should see this thing through now.
How many years ago was that?
That was in 2010.
Yeah,
2000.
And what do you say to that?
Oh, it was great to have that acknowledgement from my mother that like what I was doing was worth it, and that she was ultimately okay with it. And like I had been a pro for 10 years already before that moment came.
Yeah, wow. That
Yeah.
must be really hard to be doing something that you love so much in your family. Like, because, I mean, how do you, I don't know how you deal with that. Because it's like you love the sport and what you're doing, but you also, did you feel guilt about
No.
making them worry?
No, I didn't. There's a great saying, and I think Floyd Patterson said it. He said, boxing is like being in love with a woman. Like, she can be mean, and she can be terrible, and she can hurt you, but when you love her, it doesn't matter. You keep going back to it. And that's kind of like how boxing is for, I think, all of us.
Are there any common misconceptions about fighting that bother you? That you would like to...
First, like I kind of said earlier, like the whole Rock'em Sock'em Robots thing, people just think like it's like a strong guy, contest.
Yeah.
And it's where it's really like it really is a matching of wits and skills.
Yeah.
Well, it's also funny that hanging out with this guy, like when we go to places, nobody, like we have a game that we ask people like guess what he does for a living.
Yeah, he has
and it's
the-
like
What do they
it's
say?
like what
The other
they
that,
think
that
he's
was
like a model.
that was a really good one. The other day, the girl said, she's like, I don't know, do you have like a school that like teaches boys how to be handsome and gentlemen and things like that? Like it seems like a handsome gentleman school or something. Like you own handsome.
Yeah.
That was interesting. But yeah, no, he gets a kick out of that game.
Yeah, it's funny.
That's interesting. Okay, and then, so when did you start like drinking Kimera?
So I think you reached out to me, and I probably forwarded it to my manager about the brand, and we checked out your social media, and it's awesome. Like the photos are great, and it's really cool. It's fun. And then you guys had sent me some of the coffee. I was in camp with Jacobs at the time, and we were actually in the Bay Area. We were training in Oakland.
Okay.
So I was
just there last weekend.
yeah, it's cool up there.
Yeah, it's different.
It's different. It's definitely way different than down here.
Yeah, that's...
So we were up there for 2 months. It was kind of rainy the beginning of last year. Like it was like oddly rainy. And I'd never been there. Like the first time I'm there, of course, it's raining. But yeah, they had sent me the stuff, and I tried it. I'm like first of all, like this stuff is delicious.
Yeah.
Like I really, really like the
Yum.
flavor. Yeah. I'm like, all right, so that's a good. I'm like, I don't know about this brain vitamin bullshit, but it tastes good.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I just found that I was feeling really good when I was using it in my workouts, and it tasted good, and I was seeing a lot of synergy with the brand and what was going on. And then when we all met, then I was really like, all right, these guys are great.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about your marketing strategy, because you guys are funny to me. You're very interesting. So what's your marketing strategy?
I think we just try to like enhance whatever we are. Like
Yeah, it's
whatever
like a
we like.
reflection
Yeah.
of-
Frank likes being funny. I like taking these type of pictures. I like these types of sports. So we're just like, okay, I can't be a rally driver, so let's just work with a rally driver that has the same passion as we do. Or I can't be a boxer, let's just work with a boxer. So I feel like
I can.
Yeah.
We Chris and I had
they
a fight
fought.
last time that we were
They-
here.
it was a rematch.
Correct.
It was really close too.
oh, correct. Frank
I
was
find it
gonna
hard
fight
to
him.
believe.
Frank was gonna fight him, and then he saw his skills, and he's like, "Let's do this movie."
Yeah.
That's Frank.
Stage it.
Frank, we should keep him here in LA, and I think he'll flourish as an actor here.
I don't know what
And
they're
a
talking
director.
about.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, wait, but so how do you, when you first created this product, what's your first move?
What's our first
market.
move? To market, we're like, we don't have any money. Let's just
We gotta
reach out to
bootstrap this baby.
Let's see who wants to like put pictures up for free, and let's see what we
Theo
can do.
started taking photography lessons like online. I started taking video editing lessons. We decided to get like some cool gear, cameras and stuff, and that's helped us out tremendously. Just like raising the quality of our
Your
Instagram.
feed.
Your
Yeah,
feed?
feed.
Do you think Instagram's the main thing?
It'll get you. It'll put you out there, and I think what Instagram does that's good is that if you have a bunch of ambassadors, then it's always in people's faces, and we feel that our product, once people try it, it'll sell itself.
Yeah.
We just have to. If we had a huge marketing budget, then I'd have like marketing in every single state because I know it would sell. I know people will love it because
Yeah.
it's. I mean, In terms of pricing, I think if you look at it, it's just coffee, then it is on the expensive side of the
on the premium.
On the premium brands, we're probably in the midline of the prices. But when you think about adding the nootropics in there, then it's
if you buy the two things separately, it's well over like $35.
I think about I have a bottle of L-theanine over there that itself it was like $40.
Right.
Yeah, and it's more easily you'll take it. You have to drink the coffee, so it's also convenience. So you'll take it, and it's like when I tell people, sometimes people that have taken a lot of pre-workouts in their entire life won't feel the effects. Some of them want them
over caffeinated.
So limitless. Yeah, the limitless
effect. They have no
effect,
body awareness at that point.
So I just tell them, listen.
People don't.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So when those people come up to us and say like, "Oh, I don't feel that Kimera's working," we say you're probably sensitive to it.
Or we have to recommend a soft reset or a reset. Why don't you stop drinking coffee for like 4 days and then start it back up so your body can cleanse itself and start from scratch pretty much.
Yeah. And the nootropics are still doing their work. That's one thing that everybody has to know. It's like a multivitamin. They're still there working, fixing everything up in your body. So we usually are always out in the lookout for articles and journals and studies that'll
back up the scientific
all
claims.
our claims. We can't afford to have a medical study done, but there are other people doing it, and you can look it up on our website, and there's tons of posts from legit clinics and legit studies, so it's all there.
So, okay, you have this product, and you're going to reach out to people. Who are you reaching out to?
At first, it was grapplers, because another partner of ours, Jake Shields, he's a grappler, so we reached out to them. But we also knew that we can't survive on that. So
Theo does grappling.
Yeah, I do. That's my hobby.
That's his hobby. So he was more drawn towards that
and it's
type of
easy
brand
for me to
ambassadors.
see who are growing. We try to get individuals who are have small Instagram accounts but we see potential, and that's important because it's for young companies. Whoever's listening right now, I mean, that's a way to get your brand out there because these people will grow with you and they'll actually be more enthusiastic.
A testament to that is Juji Mufu. When we first reached out to him, he had, I think,
3,340
5,000 followers.
I knew it.
And now he has, I don't know, 900,
almost a million
followers. So.
Well, no, I mean, I asked this because I know that there are a lot of small business people who are trying to put some products out there who listen to this podcast, and I deal with brands too, and my last job I was just doing all sponsorships and brands, and I think that a lot of companies don't understand what they're doing, and they're not even looking at engagement. They'll pay people with big numbers who bought their following because they're not even looking at engagement, right? And also, but how do you pay people to post?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you pick who you're going to pay?
It just has to.
Well, we do have a budget.
Yeah,
and what we do is we split it 50-50.
Okay.
So me and Theo are the ones that choose the brand ambassadors, the ones that I might like, and then the ones that he might like, and then we bring them to the table and. We start working with them, but normally we do maybe a 2 to 3 month rotation, depending on how well they do. But we do pay attention to engagement. It's,
And one thing that's important that when we so Frank has 10 people that he wants to bring in now, and I have 5 people. I'm just throwing out numbers. So I present a case to why I think these people are important to the company, because I don't want just Frank to go ahead and you have money, let's go ahead and use this guy. I want him to feel and to get to know that ambassador as I got to know him in the little research that I've done. And Frank does the same thing, and he'll we argue back and forth, and at the end it's always worked out like that. And with our other ambassador numbers, not our ambassador, co-founder numbers, he's also chooses. He's not here.
Okay.
Sometimes it's trial and error as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just depends, but you normally people that stay with us are people that might be doing either something different or going that extra mile. We really like that. You know, just trying to do a good job as a brand ambassador.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's
hard also.
We definitely notice that.
Are you just doing all athletes?
No, we have
Or like people in fitness?
Yeah.
but we have
Because
we've had drone pilots. We've worked with a video game announcer. A rally driver is an athlete. But we've also worked with comedians at the beginning. We've worked with a couple comedians.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you're sticking with just fitness?
I feel that some of the people that we've stopped working with, they're not as diligent in like, you need to be an ambassador, you have to be organized and you have to like keep doing the post. So some people just stop doing that work, and I feel like fitness people actually like they have that sort of organization. I think since they're like,
They're, like,
going
disciplined.
to the,
Yeah.
So for now we're doing just fitness, but
do you
we're
worry?
definitely open to.
Do you worry that sort of blocks you off from reaching another market?
yeah.
Well, the
Because
fitness
I'll
industry is huge.
Yeah, that's
we
true,
have,
but
like,
you could make it bigger.
yeah.
Why are you blocking yourself in? You know what I'm saying? Like, there are so many random. I'll tell you right now, anybody in LA, you tell them there's something fancy in their coffee, and they'll just buy it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Funny you should mention that. We have a project that is
It's gonna
coming out.
It's gonna be coming out.
We can't really tell
a
you about
secret?
it. It's a secret, but maybe you
Whoa.
could have us back on when it's finally out
we'll
there.
be back here when it
World
comes to life.
domination.
world domination.
But going back to what you said, yeah, we do want to reach other markets.
Because-
I've always said like soccer moms,
Yeah.
like they need the energy.
Yeah,
probably
but
more
just,
than
also just
athletes.
regular college students.
Yeah.
Like regular doesn't everybody
We
want?
actually had a meeting 2 days ago about all that stuff. That you're
Yeah,
telling. It's
that's the
pretty
thing.
exciting
It's like
times.
because I worry like if you look at your Instagram, it just seems like this is like a coffee for if you're into fitness.
Yeah.
You know, and there are a lot of people who would love your coffee.
And I take it for work too.
Yeah.
Like when I have like, you know, I take it in the morning before I go to my office. So
Yeah, we've worked with artists, with Pixar artists.
Yeah,
they actually
I bet.
all the
Because-
design are limited like edition designs that we do for Christmas or Easter. It's all done by a Pixar artist, which are Easter bag designs. Gonna be pretty cool.
I'm excited to see. But yeah, because it's like it's cognitive enhanced, like as you know, like so. I think that applies to everybody who doesn't
Yeah.
want to.
Yeah, everybody who wants to have long-term mental health benefits. Like
Yeah. So
we have a lot of stuff. Stuff on our plate.
we wish
have a lot
we
of
would
stuff
have-
going on. Like tomorrow, we're going to Seattle to meet up with the Seattle Seahawks. We have a coffee machine in their installations, and we're doing that with more NFL teams. And like we're working with some NBA people that are also catching on to it, and
yeah.
you know, so we have a lot of stuff.
And where
Cool
do people
things.
buy your coffee?
on Amazon and on our website.
Chimera Coffee.
Are you gonna
Chimera
get
with a
into
K.
stores?
Coffee with
Stores?
a K.com.
We're in some
Don't
stores.
worry, it'll be all over.
We're on some stores in Dominican Republic and some stores like and gyms in the U.S.
We have like a bunch of scattered gyms over here in the United States, but
You guys have to get into Erewhon. Have you
What's
been
that?
there?
No, what's that?
What's that?
You guys, you came to LA and didn't go to Erewhon?
What is it?
Oh
It's
my
like
God,
a
it's-
supermarket or something?
Yeah, it's all so it's like Whole Foods on crack. Like it's like super bougie. Like everything there's so expensive. and
Really?
it's anybody who visits LA. It's the first place they go. Like they have, you have to go. Do you have any time to stop there before?
Probably not.
No.
We might.
Before you leave.
But you're gonna write it down how it,
Yeah,
you're gonna show
you
it
have
to
to
me.
get into
I
Erewhon.
stopped there on the way.
It's
to
like
work.
super specialty
Yeah.
products. Like
Well-
if you need food, get food
We
there.
want to do next year the Food Expo West.
Oh, I'll be there.
Yeah, we wanna
Yeah.
do that.
Have you guys not been to Expo West before?
No. haven't
We've been to
any
like
food.
fitness expos, but we've
Not
heard that
any food ones.
all our research says that we should go to that one.
Yeah,
where
you
everybody-
should
yeah.
definitely go, but it's taxing. You'll need the coffee for sure.
Yeah.
I
What do you
literally
mean,
felt
like
like I
long
got
hours?
hit by a truck.
Oh my God.
It's
we
so
we
much.
we did a couple of CrossFit
The CrossFit
events, and
events.
it's
Oh, I
7 to
bet.
7.
Yeah.
And it was,
and we're like
we
standing
didn't
there,
eat.
like
Remember,
handing
we
people
didn't
coffee
eat?
and just pitching. It was like all day, like 7 to 7.
We did 12 hours of
pitching.
just drinking coffee, not even water.
What is this?
Oh my god. Well, yeah. If
So
you guys,
what's so special about your coffee?
I mean, that's what everybody's gonna.
It's
Yeah.
I had like at the end of the CrossFit events, like I was just like talking, like I didn't even know what was saying. Like people were asking me, and I'm like just repeating everything out of order.
And we were
it's
finding creative
ridiculous.
ways to like deviate from what we said before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
Like-
even
like-
just
like-
be like, just try it. Like,
No, we're like imagine like our
partner was like,
you're
imagine-
in a plane, and
imagine-
you're landing like
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
ridiculous.
Imagine your brain is like a 4-lane highway.
wait, but you guys have other products too.
We do. We have so we have a coconut oil. That's
Super
in
good.
Yeah, that's in single serving packs. It's
It's really
What's
refreshing.
special
It's
about the-
It's
it's
just-
delicious. It's Dominican
delicious,
coconuts.
and
It just
it's-
tastes super clean.
Yeah.
Too. Like,
yeah,
just-
it's a special filtered process which we
You
won't
need to-
reveal here.
You need to give me that.
But it just tastes
we did
like
a blind tasting
pure.
with like 6 different coconut oils, and that one always was like 1 and 2.
And
Why
some of them
haven't
were like the
you-
top brands on
goes
the
really good in
market.
your hair too, by the way.
So we have that. We have the Kimera Cacao Booster, which is Ceylon.
That's my favorite.
yeah,
Which is
like
raw
the
cacao, Ceylon,
raw cacao.
cinnamon, and a little bit of
The Ceylon cinnamon is
That glutamine.
from it's from Vietnam. So it's like the super duper premium one.
Okay.
That seed stack's pretty awesome too, though.
The
We
seed
have
stack.
a seed stack, which is an assortment of hemp, chia,
Flaxseed,
sesame, and flax.
sesame seed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you do with the seed stack?
Oh, we put it on everything. We had a
Just
chef
toss it on everything.
work on a couple of
I
recipes.
put on my oatmeal
Yeah.
and my
Yeah.
yogurts.
Yeah.
Yogurt,
recipes online.
oatmeal, smoothies, salads.
The
I put them.
Pump
I
guys
put them
put
on,
it
on my fish too.
Yeah, that was gonna say. My pop guys put on their sushi.
Yeah.
Ooh,
The,
that sounds
um,
good.
So we have this chef that works with us in Canada, Alex Edmondson. You can find him on Instagram, but he uses our recipe. He had some like coffee crusted ribs. He had
That sounds so good.
all his recipes are on his Instagram feed, and he did a bunch of stuff with our product. So we're gonna work with him again in December with the coconut and stuff, and he's gonna come up with a bunch of other recipes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to get back to the Instagram thing. So, what are you looking for when you're looking at people's feeds? Because like, how are you deciding? You guys are talking about the value of looking at smaller people, like quality,
Image quality.
Yeah, it's okay. You're looking for
It's
that. Like, how
super
do you tell if
important.
somebody's worth sticking with if they have a smaller following? Like
They have,
the person
like,
you were
a-
talking about before.
First, all
Well, you
the
see it on the
pictures have to be like same
High
like,
def.
high def color gamut. You see, you follow those like famous Instagram photographers, and it feels like one thing. I look for that. I look for that they have to be inspirational. That's one thing.
I always look for value. Like if something looks really good to me, it's like kind of like a gut instinct that this is.
Yeah.
If I think it's worth, following or just looking at their feed for a little bit, then I think I also look at engagement as
Yeah.
well. Like if I see that people are like commenting and they're engaging really well with that one
Yeah.
person, it's because they have like
Yeah,
a bunch
that's-
of people
that's
like
important.
admiring them or like
Yeah.
wanting to follow them.
But what about the whole Instagram algorithm fiasco?
I know that's kind of it's been kind of hard to like get new people.
Yeah.
Because before you could go on Instagram search and just like have all these other different people that you never seen. Now they just try to match you with people that you're already following, so you feel like you're going
In a loop.
You're going in circles. Yeah. So I just do like sometimes recently I've been doing Google searches like rock climber. Top 20 up and coming rock climbers,
Yeah.
top 20 up and coming fencers, that sort of stuff. And it's been helping a lot. I've found that recently there's been more blogs about Instagrammers to follow in different sports, so that helps a lot.
Okay, interesting. And what do you ask of your ambassadors? What does that mean? This is like an exclusive club.
It just varies. It just varies on like different posts. Make sure that first and foremost that they love
the product.
They love using the
Yeah.
product.
Yeah.
And I guess it just varies from individual to individual. Sometimes if you're
They're required to hang out with you, like Chris,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They have to
Yeah.
hang out.
Oh,
with you.
we'd love to have a lot more money and take all of them down to Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
yeah.
And wait, when are you guys doing that?
For our Christmas party,
You're going for the Christmas party? Chris?
No.
he's
Not-
in the
not
LA
scheduled
trip.
for it.
Oh, okay.
For the Christmas party, we're only having Blessed down there. So we're having like a dodgeball tournament for all the kids at the farm.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have like weightlifting competition, stuff like that.
So, okay. So what do you guys do for fitness?
I do grappling.
I like weightlifting and CrossFit. I also
you do
some running.
CrossFit?
Yeah.
What? Oh, how long have you been doing CrossFit?
For like a year and a half.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What got
but
you into it?
I do CrossFit like once a week.
Oh, okay.
I do more like weightlifting, and I go running. I went for a run with this guy this morning, and he destroyed me.
Where did you guys run? On
Santa
the beach?
Monica. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just on the boardwalk by
It was
Muscle
really
Beach.
pretty.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful there.
A lot of weirdos too.
Oh, yeah. Did you see anything of note today?
What was today?
Oh yeah. We went. I went in the bathroom, and there was this dude in the stall next to me,
Iron Man. That's right.
just talking about how he was Iron Man. And
Yeah.
he's
To
like-
himself?
Yeah.
oh,
yeah.
yeah,
He's
no,
like,
you full on conversation by himself.
he's like, God, if you're listening to me now, I am Iron Man. Get me a woman. Get me a
He
woman
was
that
saying
will
that?
love
Or man.
me.
He said or.
Or man
woman
that
or
will
man.
love me and cherish me.
Did he
was like preaching to
officially see
himself.
the guy? Was
No,
he dressed as
I-
Iron Man?
we-
no, he
got
was
the
he was
fuck
in
outta
a
there.
stall and just talking very loudly.
Maybe
Yeah.
he was practicing some lines for the new Iron Man movie.
No.
I doubt that that's a line.
Did
Find
you-
me a man or a woman that will love me. That's Iron Man.
Did you see him?
No.
Oh.
He
We
just-
got out of there pretty quick.
Yeah, interesting. What about you? What about like when you're not getting ready for a fight? What do you
Yeah,
do?
I mean, I'm a very fitness orientated person,
Yeah.
so I'm unlike a lot of other fighters that when I don't have a fight, I'm still very active and fit.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to get away from boxing and like do other things.
Like what?
So I competed in my first triathlon this past summer.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. That was a lot of fun. That's something I definitely think I'll be doing more of in the future. That was fun. I'd like to do a lot of foot races, 10Ks, half marathons, things like that. I do like to run. I've been swimming more recently.
Interesting.
I like to swim. It's
I
actually
feel like not enough people like do that.
it's hard.
Yeah,
Swimming's
it is.
Really,
It is
swimming's
hard.
really difficult. It's
Yeah.
a very technical sport too, and you need coaching. You really do like to get good at it.
And a clean pool.
And a clean pool and
kinda warm
access to a pool.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, and access to a pool. It's not like
Yeah.
running. You could just
Do
throw on your
whatever.
sneakers and leave the house. And
Yeah.
just go running.
I do like to lift weights, which a lot of boxers don't do. So resistance training whenever I get the chance. I'll lift
Yeah.
more when I'm not in training camp than when I'm actually boxing.
What do you made a reference to, like what are other boxers usually doing on off season, and they're just
Usually
like
getting
sitting
fat.
around? Okay.
Getting big old fat
Well,
guts.
why do they do that? Because isn't that just gonna make it way harder?
Yeah,
when-
but it's just it's the it's like I was saying earlier, the training camps are so taxing and take so much out of these guys. They just want
Just,
to be
like, burnt
off.
out.
And
Yeah.
the fights are hard, and you're beat up, and the last thing you want to do is go back into a gym and get punched again. So
Yeah,
a
definitely.
lot of guys just kind of fall off with that.
Chris has a book which is very good. I'm gonna plug it in for him because he's always forgetting.
What's the book? You're like, I have a book.
It's called The Fighter Physique.
Uh-huh.
And it's essentially it's my workout plans that I've used for a bunch of my world title fights by my strength coach, kind of geared towards the general population.
Okay.
And it's 3 resistance training sessions a week, and then I put in some boxing workouts that anyone can do. Like it's not like super complicated stuff at all.
I did it. My wife did it. We both loved it.
Yeah.
And you'll see transformation in your body in like 2 weeks.
I've
That's
had great
awesome.
feedback from my clients and people who've purchased it. I've got guys, they've sent me their blood work and how it's changed over utilizing the workouts plus the nutrition that's in there.
Yeah.
I'm looking to come out with another volume this New Year's.
Where can people get that?
ChrisAlgieri.com has everything.
Oh, it's just so you just buy it online?
Yeah, just buy it
So
online.
do you need access to a gym?
Yes, like you need some kind of the resistance stuff. You do. The boxing stuff, very little. I mean, a heavy bag and some gloves,
Yeah.
and you're pretty much good to go.
Or people can just use it, do like shadow boxing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They could do. You can adapt.
Especially
They're pretty
the boxing
easy
stuff.
to adapt all the exercises.
Yeah.
Even if your gym doesn't have the equipment, you'll find a way
To make it work.
to make it work.
Yeah, Theo was doing it in his living room in
Yeah.
his boxers. So
I like
anybody
that.
can do it.
Get everybody into it.
Yeah, it was weird. He sent me a bunch of pictures doing it.
Did you guys post that to the gram?
No.
You gotta catch that on. I put it on the gram with some high quality videos. Yeah, no, I'm curious. Like, what So that's what you would like suggest for like a general population? Because I mean,
boxing's not for everyone. Like, I mean, and I tell those people all the time. And boxing is a big fitness craze right now, but there's really no boxing without getting hit. Like you can't hit something. You can't hit someone without getting hit back. Like that's boxing gyms across the the board. But in terms of for general population and regular fitness, it's such a great workout, and it shouldn't only be for people who are going to fight or get hit. So 99.9% of people do not need to get hit. So but you can still utilize the workouts for a great fitness.
I've been seeing it pop up more like on like YouTube, these little like girls, like these little fitness YouTubers, and they're all of a sudden like doing at-home boxing workouts. And I was like, wow, where did this come from?
It's big. There's all these boutique gyms bopping up all over Manhattan. Like crazy followership. And a lot of celebrities.
I feel it's like the in thing now.
It is the in thing.
And people love it, I think, because boxing works your core so much without having to do abs. So suddenly you're like going to boxing classes for like 3 months, and you realize like your core is getting a lot stronger, you're losing fat there, and it's all the twisting.
It's repetitive core rotation, like bong, bong, bong. Every punch is you turning your core, and it's all lower body. So it's like it's really the problem areas. It's like that mid thigh to like mid chest range. That's where all of your torque and your power comes from a punch. Plus you're bouncing on your toes the whole time, so like you're working your calves, your heart rate's getting up, cardiovascular. I mean, and like you said, ripped abs. Everybody likes ripped abs.
What's your opinion on traditional steady state cardio?
I think there's a place for it.
What's the place?
Within your workout program, within your routine. I don't think that you should only do HIIT. I don't think you should only do steady state. I don't think you should only do weights. The human body doesn't really work great that way. It adapts really fast to whatever we're doing. So I think mixing it up is really important. Like I still keep a steady state, cardio in a couple times a week, but I like to sprint. I get the most results, or the fastest results out of that. But in terms of you building your base cardio, steady states there, I think people need to realize that you don't burn as many calories working out as you would think. It really comes down to your diet. You really got to focus on what's going in. Everyone's like, I worked out, so I'm gonna go like have a steak dinner and drink 3 beers. Like, no, okay, well you just that was like 3 workouts that you just smashed. So I think people really overestimate how much they're burning.
I would totally agree with that. Is that what you think? What do you think is like the biggest mistake people make when it comes to like?
Well, I think actually we touched on earlier, under eating.
Okay.
I think that's the biggest thing. I think people, it's difficult. I understand, like to be regular with your eating and not to overeat at each meal.
See, I don't think it's that difficult. I don't know why people.
Quality.
That too, but even that. I mean, food is food. I mean, like you can. It's just I think people overeat too. So most of the time, the people I deal with, like oh well, I eat once a day. I'm like, okay, that's not good. Even though you're eating a 2,000 calorie meal.
Well, what do you think about the fasting craze?
The
sigh.
I'm so curious.
Yeah, don't hate on it.
I'm not.
Do you fast?
Yeah, like I do intermittent fasting. I've been doing it for like a year now.
Every day?
Yeah.
What do you do? 16/8?
I do it 6 days a week.
Okay.
Yeah. So I do the 16
How
hours.
long? Okay, 16.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel my cardio goes down a lot. Yeah. I don't know if it's my body type, but I don't like it.
Okay.
I don't like that.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, even just like these two guys, their body types. Like Theo is a much leaner, thinner guy. His metabolism is probably a lot higher. His body is probably carb friendly. He probably burns through carbs relatively easily.
He's an ectomorph.
Yeah. Frankie's a bigger guy. He carries more mass, more body size. I feel like the intermittent fasting is probably better served for him. He's probably better at utilizing his fat for fuel. And being longer at work.
All these muscles that I carry.
Yeah.
Just
they got to be fed, man. You got to feed those muscles. Where Theo and I mean, we got to eat all the time.
Yeah. What do you think about? I mean, I'll tell you right now, most people listening to this are women. So what's your perspective on differences between men and women?
Big difference. So I was a personal trainer before.
Yeah.
Actually, throughout majority of my earlier fight career.
I feel like you've literally done so much and you just don't remember. Like, you need to, remember everything you do.
I told him he had to write all this stuff down.
Yeah,
these guys tell me all the time they get on top of my stuff. But, so I was a personal trainer, and I really was kind of my niche, was women. I was working with a lot of middle-aged women who were just like, they had time off during the day, and I was training during the day, and I did group classes and individual fitness. It's a totally different approach. You've got to be the areas that they're worried about are different than men, of course. The physical capabilities, the metabolic output's going to be different. My biggest successes with my female clients was I got them to resistance train. I got them to lift weights. I got them to like lift heavy things, which they never would have thought of doing. And they couldn't really do on their own anyway, because I was doing some compound movements, like deadlifts, things like that, box jumps, kind of explosive maneuvers that you wouldn't really think of a 40-year-old woman doing. But that's when I got the best results. I would start with like a basic, more steady state kind of work, and get them leaner, get the nutrition plan a little bit better. They would get leaner, but then they'd come to me and they say, I love the results, but I want abs. And, past 40, getting abs for a woman's really difficult. But I did it with a bunch of my clients. We were doing a lot of, like I said, that's when I would, all right, we got to step up to the next level, guys. We're going to change the diet a little bit more. We're going to add in some maneuvers and movements and exercises that you've probably never done before, and you might be a little afraid of doing.
And they thought they were taboo. I think that's a big thing. They think they're gonna get like big.
Get bulky.
It's so hard.
I would explain you gave them the "how bad do you want it" spiel.
I would explain to them about their abs. I'm like, listen, your abs are a muscle. Like, you're lean now. You don't have any body fat over there, but but the abs aren't showing it. I'm like, because the muscle's not developed. We got to develop that muscle. A percentage. The percentage of that muscle is fast twitch muscle. So you got to do some explosive stuff. You got to do some heavy stuff, and that's when the abs will pop out for these ladies.
And it's so hard to get that big. Like, I think women in general are afraid to get big, but if they realize to get
it's a process.
Big,
it's not
to get the big they fear, it's super hard. And
we don't have enough testosterone.
Well, that's my argument.
It's like, I don't want to get to too bulky. And you're like, you definitely
it's not
will not
happen.
get bulky.
Honey, we're doing 7 push-ups.
But I also feel like, I have a different demographic, so younger women, I think nowadays people aren't afraid of that anymore. I feel like that's, but it's still
strong as
prevalent.
Sexy.
I look at my mom. I'm just arguing with her last weekend about this. I'm like, you need to lift a weight, try and do a push up, and she still is afraid of that. But then I look at this younger demographic, and everybody is just killing them. They're not afraid to lift weights, but I just feel like they're all overtraining and undereating.
Right. And you see the body type show from that too. A lot of these younger generation, these girls that are doing kind of the CrossFit phase and these power movements, they're doing too much of them because that's all they do now. So all they're doing is, like I said earlier about the steady state versus doing HIIT training. It shouldn't be the only thing you do. CrossFitters are totally known for undereating, being undernourished, underfueled, and training really hard and breaking their bodies down. That's when you tend to see people that get that thicker midsection. They get, the arms are relatively stringy compared to the rest of them. That's I noticed that with athletes that are underfueled, aren't resting enough, overtrained, and you see that a lot with the younger generation of females who are doing this heavier resistance training or this CrossFit style of working out.
So how do you get them out of that?
So what I do with my athletes that I actually work with at the college level, I start to overfeed them. Not overfeed them, but I start to increase their calories. And I normally do 300 calories additionally a day, and I do that for 2 to 3 weeks. And then I'll do it again and again. I have athletes that are CrossFit athletes, for example, cross-country athletes. They're running 15, 20, 25 miles a week and eating 1,100 calories.
That's crazy.
Right. And they're still getting through the workout.
People,
no problem.
I'm curious, did they realize that they should eat more food but just don't want to, or is it just they think that's enough food?
Both. So what I've noticed with athletes or just really fitness conscious people, they become very much aware of the foods that they're eating, and they don't really understand certain other parts of the diet and metabolism and how it works. And that's there's this many calories in that, so that's a lot, and it's really, you're burning so many because of how much you're working out. But then there's things like the thermic effect of food, where different macronutrients have a different a net gain of calories in the body, which a lot of people don't understand. So they just think they need to eat less and less and less.
Yeah. Is there a particular macronutrient that you think is not eaten enough?
Everyone's afraid of carbs.
Yeah.
And my suggestion with carbs is you got to be careful with carbs because it's very easy to overeat them. They're delicious.
Yeah.
But carbs are for movement. That's our body's preferred source of fuel when you're doing anything that's going to get your heart rate up, anything that's going to be explosive, anything that's going to be fast, anything that's going to be strong. Our body prefers to use carbs for fuel. So if you're doing anything like that, you need carbs. If you're not, you don't need that many carbs. If you're sitting around all day at a desk, your body's not using carbs then, it's using fat.
Yeah.
So at that point, when I work with people, I tell them to focus more on their protein first, fill in the gaps with, protein first. Think about how much protein monitor that, and then put your carbs around your workout, and then fill in the rest with fat.
We'll see how like the keto diet or like the bulletproof diet was born in Silicon Valley with all those, all the nerds behind desks that would just spend hours and hours on end, just like punching away at a keyboard and just like consuming coffee and fat.
Yeah. Have you guys tried keto?
I have.
What happened?
I leaned out. My results were like decent, but I didn't have that explosive strength that I used to have, and like, I couldn't lift as heavy.
Yeah.
So I decided to drop it.
Have you ever tried?
And it's really hard to sustain.
Yeah,
It's really hard.
I
You
didn't
have to
like how I
become
felt
antisocial,
with that.
can't go.
You know that.
Yeah.
Going back to something that Chris said that I was going to ask him personally, do you think like the people listening, let's say they have a 9-to-5 job, so do you think they during the week, because a lot of people are afraid of going on like those diets, like you see, no more carbs, but if you're going to be in the office 3 days a week, maybe those are the days that they should cut off the carbs, so they won't be as afraid to go on a diet, right?
Those are situations where I think the keto and the intermittent fasting fall in that population. The people who are more sedentary, the more day-to-day people, the weekend warriors, the people who train like that. If you're spending the majority of your time sedentary, then those diet plans work.
And then they could go on the weekends, like they'll say like, okay, Saturday I'm going to work out, I'm going to have some more carbs and stuff like that, and then I think you should include that in your next book.
Yeah, you
You're welcome.
should. Well, and also,
welcome,
I mean, going back to what you were saying about protein, I think that the whole protein thing is so interesting because everyone's talking about carbs and fat, but like not that many people are talking about protein. And then keto made everyone scared of protein. And then there's the whole like, limiting protein for longevity. What's your opinion on the protein?
So there's
let's talk for athletes and then regular people.
Okay. For athletes, it's so ridiculously important because of the muscle breakdown from all the working out. The athletes that I deal with, whether they're at the Division I college level or they're at the professional ranks with my fighters, you're looking at 2 workouts a day, 6 days a week.
Yeah, Jesus.
So your lean tissue breakdown and the catabolic state of where you're losing the lean tissue which you need is a very dangerous thing. You need to make sure that your athletes are staying healthy and staying strong and not losing the lean tissue. We're working hard for them to build muscle. We want a lean athlete, sure, but we want to make sure they're maintaining their muscle as well. So constantly feeding with protein is really important. We don't have a storage form of protein. It's not like carbohydrate we can store as glycogen. It's not like dietary fat that we store as fat. Protein, our body needs a flux of amino acids throughout our bloodstream throughout the day. And if you're training multiple times a day, those amino acids are the building blocks for the muscles, right? So if you're breaking that muscle down, you need to have amino acids being washed over throughout the day, multiple times a day. We're looking at 5-6 times a day. That's protein portioning. So that's when I deal with my athletes. That's where I start. How much protein do we need? We'll start from there and then we'll work around that.
And quality protein, because you corrected me. I was taking like plant-based proteins, and I wasn't seeing like. I was taking it for like a year, and let's say my body, I weighed the same, but like.
Did you have gut issues too?
No, I just tried it because it was a fad.
Okay.
And then Chris got me back on the
whey or what type of protein?
I think actually the whey, but it was really just looking for a complete protein that has a full amino acid profile that has a lot of leucine. So the leucine threshold is like 2.5 grams, and that's really where muscle protein synthesis gets engaged. If you don't hit that number, it really doesn't. And it's really difficult to do with plant-based protein because the leucine is generally very low in plant-based proteins. Like you're getting enough protein, but you're not getting enough of the most specific amino acid that's important for muscle gain.
Interesting. I love that you're talking about, because people are just looking at just the protein and not the macronutrients.
The macro.
Yeah, that's true.
It's easy to count macros. We can't count micros. I post about this all the time. Like I like to eat with colors, because we can't add up those macros. There's no way for us to test that from day to day or monitor what you're taking in. But nature gave us a great indicator, and it's color. So you get a lot of micronutrients from your colors. And like you said, even protein can be broken down into smaller constituents, which are amino acids, which we can follow. But we know that there certain sources are better than others when it comes to those specific essential amino acids.
What about general population people?
I still start with protein. Still start with where your protein's coming from. Make sure you're getting it in throughout the day because, for one, it makes you feel fuller, faster, and longer. Two, it is a very high thermic effect, which means that the amount of energy utilized to break the macronutrient protein down is higher than it is to assimilate carbohydrate and fat. So the net gain of the calories is less for protein than other macronutrients. So you could kind of eat more protein and not see a negative effect. And also just to make sure that a lot of other parts of our system work based on proteins, our immune system, things like that. Proteins are really the working building blocks of our bodies. So making sure that you're getting enough protein, I think, is really important. So definitely start there.
Do you see any danger of a long-term high-protein diet?
So more and more research is being done right now. One of them is my buddy, Dr. Jose Antonio. He is the founder and head of the International Society of Sports Nutrition. And he is vastly becoming the over-protein scientist. He's doing these crazy overfeeding protein studies where he's giving people like 500 grams of protein a day. And then testing their liver, their kidneys, everything like that. They are showing across the board no damage to any of the other systems.
That's so interesting.
I need to go to that doctor. I need to go to that.
I'll send you the studies. They're really they're cool, and he's doing a lot of them and getting a lot of them done.
What were you going to say?
The negative part of it is everybody smells. And they sweat. They say they sweat all the time because of the thermic effect of the protein. You're eating it's 500 grams or 400 grams, something like that. So it's a ridiculous amount, but you get kind of an ammonia-y smell.
But what about? I mean, how long term are those studies though?
Some of them are 6 months, a year, and they're testing.
But what about this whole argument about just in terms of longevity, like you're not testing longevity in terms of a year. No, of course not. When you're dealing with humans, there's obvious constrictions when it comes to doing clinical trials. And I think they're moving towards that. They have a lot of guys I don't know how many studies they've done so far. I can't even say accurately, but I know they have a bunch of subjects that are doing all of them. It's the same guys. And they're going through the whole study that way. And it showed actually that even in the overfeeding populations that they're getting leaner. They're eating more calories than they normally would be, but their body composition is changing into a leaner body. I just
go tell that to Sylvester Stallone.
Oh yeah.
And we were talking about this, the type of protein and how they're getting that protein, because you can eat the quality of the steak, the vessel where it comes. They can be eating hamburgers and stuff like that. So I don't know how they would. I think
there's a big confusion with protein right now and meat specifically. People are confusing meat with food quality. So they're saying, "Oh, meat is the problem. Meat is so damaging. Meat is causing this. Meat is causing cancer. Meat's making these people sick." Not necessarily. It's where this meat's coming from.
The quality of the meat.
Exactly. We're talking about food quality now. If you're getting grass-fed, organic, and the animal is eating the foods it's supposed to be eating by nature. We've been eating animals for generations, hundreds and hundreds of years. So it's just becoming an issue now because of the food supply itself.
Do you have any vegan clients?
I do. So
how do you make that work?
So little quick story about Daniel Jacobs. He is a cancer survivor. Daniel Jacobs has an amazing story. His nickname is the Miracle Man. He literally had spinal cancer during his pro career. Was told he was never going to walk again. The guy won a world title after that. Incredible guy. So he is very conscious of what goes into his body, obviously, coming off of something like that. And he eventually wants to be a full vegan. He says, by the age of 40, I want to be full vegan. And he wants to kind of start that transition now. So he came to me at the beginning of his camp and said, hey, I've been eating a lot of vegetables. I'm being more of a pescatarian, kind of diet. I want to try and be vegan for this camp. You know what I told him? Absolutely not.
I like you.
You can do that. I said you can do this after your career.
Yeah.
Which you do in between fights or after your career is fine. But right now we got to work, and I need you to be at the best level that you possibly can.
Or I walk.
I wouldn't do it. Because I couldn't put an athlete through that, especially if so new.
And if something goes wrong, it's on you.
Right, exactly. So I spoke to him and I told him the pros and cons and why we would do it the way we were doing it. We definitely did eat way more vegetables. We cut out chicken entirely. He did not eat chicken at all. He did eat bison meat 3 days a week though. Grass-fed, organic, free range, like real bison. He was eating eggs throughout the camp and fish.
Interesting. Yeah, I think it's just, I don't know.
I will say this though, he made weight a lot easier this camp. Just the only difference is we ate more veggies and we cut out chicken entirely. Where normally we were eating chicken nearly every day.
Okay.
So but making the weight was a breeze, and he's generally known as having a nightmare to make weight.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's publicly known too. Everyone's like, yeah, he's always struggled, and now I come on and it's easy.
Interesting.
But our coffee is vegan friendly.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a few wrap-up questions. First of all, random. Are there any boxing or fighting movies that are actually like good representations?
Yeah. So Raging Bull.
Okay.
Robert De Niro, from 1980, is phenomenal. Like so spot on. Like, and not even just the ring stuff. Like the ring action is really good. Robert De Niro fought 3 amateur boxing fights in preparation for the role.
Really?
He went 2-1. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a method actor.
Yeah, and he looked. The fight scenes actually did look good. A little ridiculous and violent.
He's good.
More so, but he was good. But the real amazing part of the reality of that movie was his interactions with the people around him outside of the ring. His wife, his brother, his family, the people he's around. Fighters have a very specific mindset and personality and characteristics that are very indicative of fighters. We're fighters. We fight everything. Everything is a fight. And it's really difficult when you're in training camp to shut that off. And you see that throughout the movie. And that's the scene where he's banging his head against the wall and says, I'm not an animal. He's punching the wall. It's really visceral and really true to form.
Okay.
We were talking about, Frank and I this morning, about fighters' personalities. Because we've dealt a lot with fighters, and we know a lot of fighters, and they all have, it's what
They're
they
fucking
say.
savages.
It is. They're savages, and it's like that with all of them. You can either be like a MMA fighter, a boxer, a grappler. It's all that like testosterone, alpha, like no breaks. That type of personality.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask you guys, what were you doing before Kimera?
Real estate development. Both of us by coincidence. Like, I went to school to be a civil engineer, and then I started a real estate development company in Dominican Republic, which I still run with my business partner there. Not as much at the day-to-day basis anymore, but we still have it.
And before that, I used to have a restaurant on the beach, like a beach bar.
What kind of
and
restaurant?
It was like
You serve tacos?
Typical food.
no, it was like more like seafood.
Oh, yum.
And
So-
I used to do events like EDM events there because it was a big venue.
Oh, what happened to the restaurant?
I sold it.
What was it called?
Caribbean Sun.
Ooh.
Caribbean Sun Beach
It was
Bar.
famous in DR. Famous.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we did like Tiesto, Swedish House Mafia.
That's crazy.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff.
Wait, so then how did it switch to coffee?
Well, Frank and I always used to invent stuff. Like, we used to have, we used to bring DJs down to Dominican Republic. We used to have a fight league, an MMA fight league. We had 3 events with like 5,000 people. It was televised. It was broadcast over the internet back in 2007 when no one was doing that stuff.
Yeah.
What else did we invent? Well, a trucking company.
Yeah.
It's so many different
we had a
things.
lot of failed businesses, but I think it's really important to find something that you're really passionate about. And fitness for us is really important, and I think if you're really passionate about something, it's probably going to go good for you. So, I mean, obviously you have to put in the time, but I think that's a really good start.
And also not giving up. You guys told about all your failed businesses, and you're gonna make it work.
So many, and it's just like
That do or die mentality.
It's just like physics. You put energy into it, and you're gonna get it out. Eventually, you'll get it out. Some people get discouraged because maybe they're putting so much energy into all these projects, and they fail, but eventually, it's gonna explode, and you're gonna have something there.
Do you think that's the hardest part, or what do you think?
Yeah, getting
I think getting over
discouraged.
the hump.
Yeah, and
is the
being
hardest
scared.
part.
I think a lot of
'Cause-
people are scared to break from the safety.
Yeah.
So there was this podcast, I think it was the Joe Rogan podcast, and he said, in order to succeed, you got to remove the safety net. I always
Yeah.
keep that in the back of my mind, not to have a safety net. Even some people use like, oh, maybe my family is going to bail me out, or I have this secure job, but just like remove it and push forward. Yeah.
But how do you know if when it's time to be like, this isn't gonna work, this versus like keep pushing through?
Oh man, we never said it's never gonna work. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
I don't-
But I mean,
yeah.
you had
that-
failed businesses before, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then we said, okay, what did we learn from this? And let's not do it again. From every business, we took like, there's a couple of things that I don't want to mention because it's like my personal secret that
Okay.
we took from the businesses. But you got to look, okay, this one failed. What caused it to fail? What made it go right? And you take those one or two things and then you apply it to the next one. Maybe I hired too many people. Maybe I didn't do the marketing well. Maybe I had a problem with my loved one, and maybe that caused the negative thing on the
Or
business.
the
But-
logistics maybe weren't right.
Yeah. Also, though, you guys are lucky. Like, I think it's always nerve-wracking to go into business with someone else, like a friend. You know?
Yeah.
Did you worry about that?
You gotta, because you gotta know that's gonna be taxing on the relationship. But
Yeah.
then you gotta. So Frank and I got in a lot of arguments, and with our other partner. But you always gotta say, okay, this is business.
Yeah.
So then once you know for a fact that this is a business, and you're gonna argue, then that's completely aside from when you go out and have a couple drinks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's hard. That's when people take it personally.
Yeah. Were you guys like really? Cause wait, how old were you when you first met?
It was well, we met when we were like kids, but
Yeah.
we started hanging out together around like 2004.
Oh, okay, I was gonna ask if you were like BFFs when you were 5.
Well, our other partner, Numbers, he's a CFO of the company.
Yeah, he's like in the same.
Yeah, we
crew.
were in middle school together, so
Oh, okay.
I've known him forever,
Yeah.
and we had a boy band as well.
Oh, really?
Yes,
What was it
Primo
called?
And
Producers.
it's on
Prim-
YouTube.
Primo
It's on
pregame.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah,
is
link
our
it,
music
it's-
video.
What
He should
was
make
your
a
role?
comeback.
What?
What was your role in the band? Like
I was kind of like the song rapper kind of deal.
Yeah.
What does
And-
that mean?
You
Like
know
the
that
rapper, the guy that-
the guy
can
that
you
raps.
can you give us a little?
No, you're putting him on
No,
the spot.
No.
you can't.
Look it up. It's
Just look it
really
up.
good. The production
Primo
value is
Producers.
Primo pregame, and then in SoundCloud, Primo Producers.
Can you
And
email me
can-
a link?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can find all
Well,
our 15
I'll show it to you
songs.
after the
Yeah.
podcast
it's
is over.
surprisingly good.
I'm so curious. That's so funny.
Yeah, Frank was the rapper, and Numbers, who's
He has
the
a nice
CFO,
voice.
was like the harmony, not angelic voice, but like the
Yeah,
more
he's-
traditional voice.
Yeah, he's got a nice voice.
yeah.
So, if like within Kimera Koffee, like what are your guys' specific roles? Like, how do you differentiate?
So I take care of all like I would say like the customer service.
Okay.
Like I'm on Amazon, like making sure the customer experience is seamless. That's like the number one thing, which I actually took from Zappos. Zappos said they're a customer service company, and then they sell shoes, and I try to take that because I know our coffee it costs money and people are using that hard-earned money. I know how much work it is to like make any money in this world. So we want them to have like a premium experience. So
yeah, and
Sales, research and development, and some logistics for like the facility.
okay.
yeah, he handles like the shipment, which is super hard. Like he deals with all
All the
red
nasty
tape
shit.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And
I'm the abs.
yeah.
You're the abs. You're
We
the
got
face
abs
of
over
the,
here.
the
Look at this
project.
fucking guy.
So, okay, is there anything that you can share about future things?
Yeah, we can share a couple stuff. We have a couple of things
Maybe?
that we're working on.
Nespresso. is one of
The
them.
Nespresso pods.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that'll
because we have the
be-
K-Cups, but Nespresso is a lot more difficult, the machine.
Yeah.
So we're doing that. We have other couple products that we want, some chocolate products that we want to bring to the market, and some nut butters.
hell yeah.
Which they're gonna be coming, and there's no competition for that type of nut butter that we're bringing out in the market
Oh,
today.
what about
Plus,
the beans?
we've
Talk
been,
about the beans.
we've been
Yeah, the chocolate covered coffee.
No, the regular beans like that. Like
Oh,
the-
we have a whole bean. So yeah, we
Yeah.
have pea berry beans.
I was really
on
excited
sale.
about that because
Wow.
I like to grind my own.
No nootropics, so we call it Phase 1 by Kimera Koffee, and it's just the beans that we use on the limited edition blends, which are pea berry. Which Frank can explain a bit about pea berry.
Each plant yields like 5% of pea berry. It's the cherry produces 2 beans normally, and the pea berry is like when the cherry produces 1 bean. So it has like kind of like a more fruity, more complex taste than the rest of our blend.
Yeah.
So
It has to be hand
it's-
picked,
it's-
so it's more
yeah,
expensive.
It's just a little bit more maybe citrusy and fruity. So
Yum.
I really dig it.
Yeah. Do you get to try all the stuff first?
Not first, but I mean, when you guys
Yeah.
get it out, and you get
Have you
gets to
tried
pretty
the
quick.
nut butters?
No,
No,
not
we were-
yet.
that's
I was
prototype
telling-
stage.
Yeah.
I like need
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sea almond nut butter.
When are they gonna come?
We're trying. We'll
We'll
to
see.
get
We
it
have a lot of
early
stuff on our
next year.
plate. We're also
Yeah.
working with like different blends, like different tastes, like,
Yeah.
different roasts. So
Yeah.
Making sure we have the supply ready.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
important.
Yeah. Well, that's all very exciting. Well, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
This was fun.
It was
really
fun.
fun.
Why
I can't
don't-
wait to dig into those brownies though.
Oh yeah. You gotta try those. We'll see. But how about you guys remind everybody where they can find you and get the product?
Okay, they can find Kimera Koffee at kimerakoffee.com.
With a K.
Yeah, Kimera with a K, coffee
It'll be
with
in
a
the
K.
show notes.
Yeah.
think you said that already.
On
Yeah.
Amazon also, and on our website we have distributors all around the world, so they can find. If you're in Ireland, you can find it there. If you're in Australia, you can find it there. South Africa.
You're
So,
everywhere.
yeah.
You're everywhere.
We've
Cool.
been expanding markets.
Cool. And Chris?
Just chrisalgieri.com. If you can spell my last name, which is not easy, you can find me.
All right. Awesome. Well, thanks again for joining me. It was so fun talking to you guys.
Yep,
Yeah,
same
thank
here.
you.
Thank you for
Bye.
having us. Right.
Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was so fun talking with Chris and Frankie and Theo. I loved having them here, and I really appreciate them taking the time to stop by my little studio apartment and podcast with me. So definitely try out Kimera if you haven't already. Go to kimerakoffee.com. Everything is in the show notes. Follow them on Instagram, Kimera Koffee. Follow Chris Algieri. Everything will be written below. And don't forget to check out my new ebook on my website. And make sure you join Actually Adultish Podcast Nation, our Facebook group. Lots of fun in there. Make sure you enter the Simply Organic giveaway on our Instagram. And please leave a rating and a review on iTunes if you haven't already. It really helps get the word out about our podcast. And it's a lot of fun. So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will talk to you again next week. Bye.